friends, and welcome to our fifth episode of the Great Jelly Library. I think it is awfully awesome of you to come and visit with me. I certainly do look forward to my visits with you. I count the days till I can see you again. My name is Flossie, and I am a book lover in love all things books and all bookish things. So I would like to begin this week's episode with a little personal story. Recently, I joined some family members on a roller skating outing, and I had purchased, with excitement beyond belief, at the age of 30, a new pair of roller skates. I decided that was going to be my birthday present, and I have used those skates lovingly through the years. And through this outing, I have decided that it was time for an upgrade. So on Wednesday, I had ordered myself a pair of skates. And within 1 hour of purchasing those skates, I got notification that the skates were indeed at the post office, and a tracking number was provided. Say what? Are you kidding me? For reals? I can. Fabulous. Thank you. Looking forward to when they arrive. February 3rd, I will get them. Those lovelies will be on my doorstep. So I go to work on Thursday and I come home. And then I repeat the process on Friday and I come home. And what do my eyes spy but a glorious package on my porch that looks like a box the size of roller skates. I quick scanned my mind of purchases yet to be received, and nothing was coming to mind except for these roller skates. So I scooped that package up, brought it inside, unboxed it, inserted a foot into the boot. Jackpot! They fit. Fantastic. So, today is Saturday, so that was yesterday. Tomorrow I will again be going skating, and I will enthusiastically be boogie fevering in these skates all over the roller rink. Go me. So, for you television viewers out there with a curious mind as to what these beauties look like, here they are. Here the lovelies are. They are Chicago brand, size 6. And as I have red wheels, red stopper, red pom-poms, I chose the white, but I'm going to rock the white for a while, just a teeny while, and then I will be replacing those wheels with the light up ones and a set of blue pom-poms. It's fun getting old. Oh, it happens to the best of us. Okay, so now let's get into the books because it is hot in this room. It's probably about 10 degrees outside, but it's probably 90 in this room. And I do love the heat, but right now, no. But we're going to do our best to get through this. You're probably going to see some sweat on my face, so I will apologize for that. Alright, so one of the books that I'm going to talk to you today about is this book. It is The Choice by Dr. Edith Eva Egar. And this was a Book of the Month pick that I chose. Just read a brief description. I decided that would be a book that would be compatible for me, and so I chose it, and it ended up being a fantastic book. What started out here ended up here, and I will carry this book with me forever. I cannot say enough good things about this book. This is the story about a little girl who came from a talented and loving family. And her sister was a violinist, and she was a ballet dancer. And then things seemed to change. The world changed for them. And one dark, despairing night, the German police showed up at her door and told the family to pack a bag because they were coming with them. And they were put on trains and driven to Auschwitz. And not long after arriving, her mother and father were put to death. And so she had to learn how to survive this horrible fate. And through each and every bad thing that happened to her, she found a positive. She found a good thing to take with her. So, for example, when her mother would say to her, "Thank God you are smart because you are definitely not pretty," she felt worthless and unwanted. Now, in this camp, she can hear her mother's voice, but in a different way now. "Thank God you have brains. I have brains. I can use my brains and I can figure out how to get out of here." And get out of there she eventually did. She told herself, if I could survive one more day, then tomorrow I will have freedom. And she told herself that each and every day. And there came a moment where the prisoners had to be tattooed. And when it was her turn to be tattooed, the tattooist said to her, "I will not even waste the ink on you." And she was sent to the death line. And in that death line, she said to herself, if this is my last day on earth, must I live it as if I'm already dead? And so she changed her way of thinking. And she was not sentenced to death. And I won't tell you how. I'll leave that up to you to read it and discover how she survived that line, because she absolutely did. She absolutely survived everything thrown at her in life. She is a true survivor. She's my hero. You can YouTube her until the cows come home, and you will never get sick of an interview by this charming, lovely lady. And I must note that I am not an annotator. I won't mark my books other than a name and a date. I will not fold the page, and I will not sticker, and I will not annotate. But I probably was not even 10 pages into this book, and I said, let me go get a highlighter. Just one passage, one thought after another. She is a brilliant human being. I'm just going to read a quick outtake of this to give you a better synopsis of this. Okay. At the age of 16, Edith Egar, a trained ballet dancer and gymnast, was sent to Auschwitz. Hours after her parents were killed, the angel of death, Nazi officer Dr. Joseph Mengele, forced Edie to dance for his amusement and her survival. He rewarded her with a loaf of bread that she shared with her fellow prisoners, an act of generosity that would later save her life. Edie and her sister survived multiple death camps and the Death March. When the American troops liberated the camps in 1945, they found Edie barely alive in a pile of corpses. Edie spent decades struggling with flashbacks and survivor's guilt. Determined to stay silent and hide from the past, she raised a family, studied, and practiced psychology, always refusing to speak about her experiences during the war. 35 years after the war ended, Edie returned to Auschwitz and finally able to fully heal and forgive the one person she'd been unable to forgive for years. Not Hitler, not Joseph Mengele, herself. Today, at 90 years old, Edie is a renowned psychologist and speaker who specializes in treating patients suffering from traumatic stress disorders. She demonstrates in her life and professional practice how freedom from trauma, grief, and fear becomes possible once we confront our suffering and make the choice to heal. So, as I thumb through this book, I don't know. I just feel this is feelings, no matter how powerful, aren't fatal, and they are temporary. Suppressing the feelings only makes it harder to let them go. Expression is the opposite of depression. And I believe that 100%. 100%. And it's lines like this. All your ecstasy in life is going to come from inside. And that, my friends, is the truth. No one can give you or bring you happiness like you can yourself. Happiness has to come from within. So, anyways, this is definitely a book worth reading. I, myself, am an early riser. I typically get up about 3 a.m. and get ready, and by 5 a.m. I was already sitting in the parlor with book in hand, and probably a good 2 hours to get some reading under my belt before I had to go to work. And there was no other book I would rather be reading. So I would highly suggest The Choice. So with that said, and with Valentine's just around the corner, let's move on to a great love of mine. A book about bees. Oh, how I love bees. This book is called The Honey Bus, and it is by Meredith May, and I don't even need to look because I love her. I love her. She is brilliant. I read this story this past summer, so it was amplified because it was hot and the bees were all out playing, and when I can put myself in an element when I'm reading a certain type of book, then that, like a vortex, just sucks me right into that book, and now I am a character in that book. I'm a member in that book, whether they wrote me in it or not. And so, even like a fly on the wall, there I was. This is a story about a little girl and a little boy who had a mommy and daddy, and things didn't work out, and they got divorced, and the children were put on a plane, I believe at like 7 years old or so, put on a plane and flown to California to go live with Grandma and Grandpa. And a little out of place and a little uncomfortable, and not the lifestyle they were accustomed to. Grandpa is a beekeeper, and he has a run-down, rusty old bus that he keeps the bees in. And one day, the little girl becomes curious. She sneaks onto that bus, and she is kind of captivated by it. And so in time, her grandfather teaches her about the bees, and she's able to relate the bees' life with her life. The bees teach us things if we'll only stop to learn and to listen and to appreciate. We can learn a lot about ourselves through the bees. And now this grandfather who's teaching her about the bees is revealed to be not her biological grandfather. And discovering that only signifies in my mind how a man that is not even biologically related can take such care of a little one and love them just as their own, even more than their own, and just support them and be there for them and show them the way in life. And how wonderful is that, to have somebody that you can lean on when all things seem to be going wrong for you. Someone who is there. That's a wonderful thing. So, anyways, I'm trying to be quiet because my baby Teddy did not want to leave my side. And he is trying to fall asleep, and I am trying my best to do my job for you and not be rude and wake him up. Poor baby, he's so tired. So anyways, can you see the love in my, can you see the love in my eyes for that dog? He is my world. Anyways, what I had done with this book, the last book I don't annotate, but I loved so much I did. And this book, I don't reach out to people. I mind my business. And anybody who knows me knows that East of Eden by John Steinbeck is my favorite. book, and he is my favorite author. But when I read this book, I was compelled to reach out and send her an instant message, letting her know she has stolen the championship from John, and she has become number one in my eyes. This is my favorite book. I love it so much, and I have to say, at the very end of the book, I cried. I did, and I didn't even see it coming. And I think that when I cried, it was the end of the book, so I was closing the book, but it sealed the deal for me. It is in my heart, and in my heart it will stay always. And my number one favorite book. I love it. Sorry, John. Sorry. But yay for Meredith. Great job. Sorry, Teddy. Sorry, baby. Okay, so I don't know why I keep grabbing my foot. It's not itching. It's not nothing. I don't know. I'm doing a lot of motion, so I apologize for that. But now I have one more book that I would like to talk about, and I don't know much about it because I just got it today. So we're both going to see it inside for the first time together. And this book is called Plant Over Processed. 75 simple and delicious plant-based recipes. And it looks like this. And it is by Andrea Hanneman. And I guess she has a brand, Earthy Andy, I'm not familiar with, but I will familiarize myself with it. But I am plant-based. I love our animals, and I do not believe, this is my belief, I do not believe any animal has to die in order for me to eat. And so you may have a different view, and I respect that. But for me, this is a perfect fit. And so I feel my best when I am eating my fruits and my veggies. And when I saw this book at my local department store, and I glanced through it, and I went, that is awesome. And I wasn't going to buy it. And I actually, because I often do this, where I'm not going to get it, and then I go, and then it is on my mind. And then where do I find myself the next day or a few days later? Back at that store, going to get it. And so, in my uncertainty, I put another book in front of it so that somebody might not see it. I am awful. So anyways, that's what I did. And then I said, you know what? I'm just going to be here tomorrow or 2 days from now. So just do it. So I scooted the book away. I grabbed it. I brought it home. They have some pretty rainbow rice paper rolls. That looks beautiful. I've never had rice paper rolls, but I am willing to try it. Look at that. Chocolate energy balls. When you want a little bit of chocolate. Oh my God, what do we got? Yeah, I would drink that. Black Moon Detox drink. Is that? I should do that. Alright, what else do we got? There was a soup in here, and I saw it, and it looked, oh, there it is. Golden healing power soup. I'm not a soup and sandwich kind of chick, but I find myself every once in a while wanting a soup. And I typically generate towards a butternut squash soup. But I don't have a lot of soups incorporated into my diet, and that one looked very good to me, so I would like to try and learn how to make more soups. So yeah, that is the book. And oh, speaking of over-processed, so in my lifestyle, what I feel best doing is staying away from the packaged foods. I've read Hooked. I've read Salt, Sugar, Fat, Freakonomics. I will try to post links to those books. And I actually did those Audible, and they were phenomenal. No word fell on deaf ears. I heard every single thing that they said. And that would be 3 more books that I would recommend, and I would recommend the Audible versions of them, because they could get a little scientific, and sometimes if you're not very sciencey, you can get bored with that. But having it narrated by these fun gentlemen in their tones of voices makes it definitely appealing, and you learn a lot through those books. And I think we all can benefit from a little less salt, sugar, and fat in our diets, right? Sometimes we think eating healthy is hard, but actually it's probably the easiest thing that we can do for ourselves, and the best thing that we can do for ourselves if we just open our minds and give it a try. So that is my wrap up for this week. I am so glad that you stuck it out and stayed with me. I just enjoy so much. I love books. I have no one in my realm to share my love of books with, so oftentimes I force the synopsises on my boss, who is not very bookish, but he is gracious enough to sit there and let this rambling, bumbling book lover get it all out of her system. So now that I have you, I am forever grateful, and I am sure he is as well, because now I don't need to speak so much of my books to him, because I have you now. Thank you. I love you, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.